with features like scheduled drop times, custom notification settings, and earn rewards on purchases, among other things. And we want to be a one-stop shop for collectors, which is why we've added services like PSA grading and eBay consignment straight from Brakes. We are a PSA authorized dealer and offer grading services from value to walkthrough. All you need to do is fill out the form on our website within 24 hours of a brake completing, and we will take care of the rest. All submissions for Brakes come with a review and wipe down of your card, and you won't be charged anything until we get your card back from PSA. eBay consignment is a similar process where you will need to fill out a form on our site within 24 hours of a brake completing for any cards you'd like to submit. All cards will be listed next business day for a 5-day auction starting at 99 cents. And after the sale, you'll have the option to be paid out via check, PayPal goods, or brake credit. The links for these services will be in the description of every brake. If you have any questions about how the app or how our brakes work, feel free to message us on your preferred social platform. Or jump in the chat of one of our brakes and the brake host can help walk you through it.
What's happening, guys? Happy Friday morning.
It is a good Friday.
It technically actually is.
It is actually
a good Friday.
Yes. A Good Friday edition of All Cards Ship.
We got some fun stuff going on this weekend surrounding some Easter festivities.
That's right. That's right. You got a stack of eggs over here.
Yeah, so Woody left me with red, purple, and orange. They're different. I like the blue one personally. I think blue's my favorite color for an Easter egg. I like a good, baby blue. I don't know if I can get these things out.
So you guys put together a boatload of eggs for the store.
We got a bunch of eggs for the store.
So we did mystery eggs. This was really popular last year when we did it. Mystery eggs in the store, $199. You never know what you're gonna get.
They're loaded up,
but they are sports specific. So there's a hockey one, and basketball, and football, and baseball.
We didn't do a Pokemon one last year. We did do a Pokemon.
First time ever Pokemon eggs. All right.
Yep. So those are going to be in store starting at noon today, and tomorrow, and we expect them to go quick.
Limited quantities.
And they're loaded.
Are they loaded?
They're pretty good.
Good.
Every single one will have at least $199 in value. Some will have more. Some will have even more. And it's a cool mix of stuff. And I think people are going to be really pleased with them.
Sweet.
So we've got that going.
And then you're rocking some skunk protect, some mystery egg skunk protection this
Yeah,
weekend
we did that last year as well. So that's what these eggs are for. So these are going to be different than the eggs in the store. And we'll make sure to note that in each of the breaks. They're not going to be at that $199 value for every single break. But we're going to have skunk protection going on every single break tomorrow. And we've got tomorrow's a big day, not just because of skunk protection, but we've got WrestleMania is tomorrow.
That's right.
So we're bringing in, we never brought in 2025 Topps Chrome WWE Sapphire, but we're bringing that in tomorrow. And then we've got the start of the NHL playoffs.
And MVP buyback for
WWE.
For
yep.
WWE.
Exactly. I don't know if Sapphire's included in that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I think it's just Hobby and Delight. But I was actually looking to try to get some Hobby and do like a mixture with that. Hobby is shot through the roof.
It's way high right now.
I remember because Topps told us like a month or two ago that we're sold out, and people took that to heart and just started buying it up like crazy because it is like basically wiped off the face of the earth.
Right. I mean, that's one of the things we're seeing with a lot of these new products, like the new WWE products, the non-licensed footballs, the non-licensed basketballs. They are not making much of this stuff.
Yeah, not at all.
When you're used to print runs of like 10 to 30,000 cases of a product, and they're making like 4,000 or 5,000 cases.
It's a big difference.
It dries up fast. I mean, there are like 1,000 Topps direct accounts.
Like stores?
Well, I think there's 800 plus stores.
Yep.
Over 100 breakers.
Right.
So if you figure 1,000 direct Tops accounts, like if each account gets 5 cases, that's 5,000 cases. That's all gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
And that doesn't count what they're selling on their website, what they're selling to Fish,
Yep.
or Blowout,
Yep.
or David Adams, or Steel City, right? So, I mean, few cases. If everybody gets a few cases, there's no more.
Right.
Like, when it's gone, it's gone.
Yep. Yep. And we were lucky because we were able to procure a handful or a decent amount of cases of products like Inception and Finest and stuff like that. We've got Cosmic Chrome football releasing today, which is the complete opposite.
Perfect example. Like, we got 3 cases.
Yeah.
And when it's gone, it's probably gone.
Yep.
Right? You know, one that they're probably going to make a few thousand cases of.
Yeah.
And it'll just be gone.
Yep.
So if you want Cosmic Chrome football, you better buy it today.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe tomorrow.
Yep.
But I'm assuming that after today and tomorrow, it'll just be gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't expect us to be doing it for weeks on end like some of these other products.
Right. Right.
So, yeah. This week was a big week for releases, though. We had a lot going on, actually.
Yeah.
So today we've got Cosmic Chrome football, which is going to be sweet. It's basically everything that we love about Cosmic Chrome baseball in a football version. You got the Planetary Pursuits, you got autos, you got all the color, you got the Stella Novas, the Super, like all that stuff. So Cosmic Chrome football is going to be sweet. We also have Phoenix football today.
Okay.
Which is always a good product. It's always one that we like. It's always one that dries up quick that we seem to never be able to have enough of.
Right.
I was looking at the checklist. They didn't say much about it specifically. They just noted it as a short print hit. But on the checklist specifically listed as Color Glass.
In Phoenix. Interesting.
Which I don't... Obviously, Prism has the OG, like, white Color Blast. You got Obsidian with the black Color Blast. I don't know if they're doing like a different
kind of
color
different style,
or like there was barely. I didn't see any teaser images of it at all, but there are color blasts listed on that checklist.
Interesting.
Which, depending on how they look, I mean, it's a color blast, so it's going to look good. But how people receive it as a color blast, or maybe they're just opening it up to more players or something. I have no idea. But that is short print chase. I mean, we see it with kabooms and downtowns. Like, that can make that product go pretty crazy.
Interesting. It'll be interesting to see what that turns into.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
We'll know pretty quickly today. So.
Exactly. Yep.
If you are just dropping into the feed and your name is not cross-check, let us know that you are here and hanging out with us this morning. We definitely don't want to just hang out with cross-check. That would be a disaster.
Correct.
Of a Friday morning.
Yeah, he's not that fun to talk to.
I mean, he's like, ooh, look at me. I don't have to work for 10 more months until next tax season.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of what accountants do?
There's nothing worse than an accountant that complains how hard he works from April 1st to April 15th and then takes the rest of the year off.
Right. I know.
Can't stand it.
I know. What can you do? Team Brian is in the house.
Zachary here. Zachary is a new name that won the break credit here today.
We usually see the same guys are quick on the draw, winning that break credit, and we were like, yeah, hey, look at that, somebody new won break credit this morning. It's not Jake or
exactly. Yeah, so I'm glad you guys. I did add that credit to your account already, so it's in there.
Rock and roll. He's got $25 to play with today.
Cassis, we're good, and you? We've got Sammy. I did see your message there. Unfortunately, it's not an easy thing that I can just press a button and reload your account. But we have a meeting with our main developer for the app right after this morning. So I'll make sure to reach out, and I'll send you a message as well here shortly.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that may be something that we could add to the list of potential future features is giving us on our login side like the ability to unpause accounts, but currently it has to be done from the back end from the developer side. So
Yep.
Oh, there's Jake. Oh, poor Jake. He's sad. He's sad that we're excited that he didn't win.
We saw enough of Jake last week.
We had to hang out with him all week last week.
Seriously.
So
Yeah, how do you think? So last week, if you guys missed it, we did not do an all card ship. We were at the Minnesota Card Show from Thursday to Sunday.
right.
What do you think overall?
Minnesota Card Show was good. Last fall was a little bit slow, so they do this show twice a year, in the spring and in the fall. And last fall, I think we were pretty disappointed with the turnout.
Yeah,
It was a lot better this year. So we set up with 2 booths at the Minnesota Card Show. One booth where we're promoting the app and trying to meet new friends that buy into breaks and get some app downloads, people that can join the community. The other booth that we have, we set up there mainly to buy for the store. We sell a little bit of cards, but then we invite some of our friends to come and hang out and sell in the booth with us. So if that's something you're ever interested in and you're local and you want to come hang out for a Minnesota Card Show, the next one will probably be September.
Yep.
Just let us know. We'll keep you in mind for that next time.
Yep. We do have usually an opening in the spring because certain people are working hard during tax weekend.
Right. Yeah. Woe is me.
So no, it was good. Yeah, like even Jake said, made more than 3 days than all 4 days last spring and fall, and we sold the decent amount. Like we're able to move some singles, but we also, what was more exciting was we're able to buy a ton. So especially if you're local, you'll see a ton of new singles going out into our cases here shortly.
Yeah, I mean the next week here, even the next few days is going to be a good time to stop in if you are a singles guy, because we are going to be loading the case with new singles, all the stuff that we bought, completely fresh turnovers.
Yep.
So
Yep.
there'll be some sweet cards to grab. We bought some cool
We
stuff.
bought some really cool stuff. Yeah, Brian said he wasn't invited, but we'll be. I mean, this kind of kicked off our spring and summer. I'm not going to say road trip because that's something else that may or may not have been slightly teased yet. But kind of kicks off our circuit here where we've got,
Spend
Tops
a little bit
Comics
of time
coming
on
up.
the roll. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got Fanatics Fest coming up in 2 months now.
And Team Brian will get to see us there, so I don't know what he's complaining about.
Yeah, I don't know either. I can only really deal with Brian. Like, I mean, if he comes to the National, that's gonna be 2 times.
2 times?
Yeah, well,
That's
that might be 1 or 2 times too much. I think in the course of a year.
Crosschecks, what was our favorite pickup? Was there a favorite card that you bought
I know what
at
it
the
was,
show?
and you sold it at the
I
show.
didn't sell it.
100%.
I traded it.
Yeah, and we got some cool stuff in trade, but yeah, I was able to pick up a Jamar Chase XRC tie-dye auto out of 25, still sealed from Panini with the redemption.
And we had it for about 30 minutes, and then I traded it away.
Yeah.
So, to some youngsters.
Yeah, it was a good deal. I think we could pick up some Viking stuff in that too.
We did. I flipped his crappy Jamar Chase into some actual Vikings cards that we can use in the store.
Yeah, I think that was my favorite pickup of the show. I also was able to buy a lot of hockey. You were kind of sending the hockey guys my way, so we got some sweet hockey that's going to be going out in the store. Even some that is in these mystery eggs here in the store. I was able to pick up some cool. The coolest thing was a Brock Faber Premier Mega Patch, like with the sick 3-color patch, like the big old. I always love doing that. I was looking to pick up some Ovi, didn't have any Ovi come by the stand, but that's what it is. What was your favorite pickup?
Man, probably my Tony Oliva rookie auto.
Oh yeah, was that the one that was addressed?
Yeah. So somebody shows up at the booth with a slabbed Tony Oliva rookie card signed with an inscription to Ryan.
Which is really cool.
So I for sure bought that. That will not be going into the cases in the store. That one's in the safe with the rest of my keepers.
Yeah, that's pretty
cool. So that was my favorite card that I bought.
You also had a cool, was it Vern Law? Like an old 1950 card or something like that?
1952 tops. 1952 tops with like 5 inscriptions.
Yeah, it had like
signature.
His batting titles or all-star appearance, like all that sort of like 6 things listed on that card.
Right.
Which is really cool.
Yep.
The other cool one was the, who was it? was it the John Stockton lot that you got?
Yeah,
With like an exquisite auto game worn patch and jersey card, like
yep.
It was like 4 or 5 cards or something like that. With
some relics from the 90s.
Yeah, which is crazy.
From the 90s,
Yep.
game worn.
Yep.
Yeah, that was sweet.
Yeah, I think that was another cool one that we got. But yeah, tons of sweet stuff. Tons of Vikings and Twins stuff that we'll throw in the shop.
Bought a lot of Pokemon.
Bought a ton of Pokemon. This is probably our first time that we actually went heavy, or that we. This is probably our first time that we were buying Pokemon.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll have some actual Pokemon cases now in the store with singles. Plus, we'll have plenty for our chip cases that we do during our Pokemon events, and the next one will be for the Team Rocket release. Yeah, we got a ton of stuff, a ton of cool stuff going into these eggs. I was like, man, we got all these cards, we're throwing them in these eggs. Like, there's some sick stuff in there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, scroll up a little bit. Let's jump right to questions, because we always keep this as kind of like an open discussion. We love to see questions from you guys, whether it's about our business or the industry or anything going on. Big Sales had a question, actually kind of like a 2-part question. First part was thoughts on tariffs. Tariffs, particularly the impact on our industry and where we might see some impact on cards or some impact on supplies and things like that. Yeah. So we can address that. One thing that I'm happy to say is we don't really have to worry about it. Yeah. So we actually went out a number of weeks ago in advance of tariffs kicking in, and we placed like a good order that's probably a good 6+ months worth of supplies.
Yeah, at least.
At least 6 months worth of top loaders. So, that's the main thing in the industry that's going to be affected, are the supplies. All of these top loaders are made in Taiwan/China.
Yep.
All of the Zion cases and those types of things are made overseas.
Yep.
So those are some of the places where you're going to start to see an impact.
Yep.
We have seen 2 of our vendors for supplies raise their price. BCW sent out an email recently that they were raising their prices. Fanatics raised their prices.
Yep. Ultra Pro directly did.
Yeah,
I got emails from the distributors saying Ultra Pro's raising prices due to tariffs.
Right. So we were able to get out there early, buy 6+ months worth of supplies so that we don't have to see our costs go up. So we should see our costs stay pretty flat in the store. We won't see, obviously we use a ton of supplies in our breaks. That's one of our costs of doing a break, and we shouldn't see that change. So that's kind of nice. So kind of saw it coming. We knew that. I mean, we knew that these things were potentially going to impact it, and hopefully the tariffs are just a negotiation tactic to get people to come to the table and have conversations. And by the time we're in the market for supplies again, they've sorted all that stuff out.
Right.
So that's kind of what we were angling on as a business. So I think we're in a pretty good spot.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, we've got a good enough buffer that we're kind of set for the time being.
Shouldn't affect cards too much.
Yeah, a lot of stuff is made here,
there are some cards that are made in Europe. We know there's
Italy.
Sometimes there are some products that come in from Italy, say made in Italy.
Yep.
Some soccer cards. We've seen Heritage come from Italy before.
Yeah, so some F1 stuff has been Italy
F1,
before.
But it sounds like Europe is further along in these conversations of let's sort out this whole tariff thing anyways.
Yeah.
So
yeah, do we see anything or expect anything with Canada and Upper Deck specifically?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure 100% where all of those cards are made.
Right.
I would guess that most of that's made here.
Okay.
But I don't know specifically where their stuff is
Crosscheck said Italy with that. I'm not sure. They probably have a couple different places that they're pulling from. I would assume.
Number of different places.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the other thing that's different is we've already been solicited for products that are releasing, with Upper Deck specifically, with products that are releasing next July, August, September is what we're getting into on our ordering periods right now.
Right.
So, I don't know how they will end up if something ends up, happening that actually makes an impact, but nothing that we've seen from that end yet.
Right.
So,
one of the other questions that that was asked was a question, just maybe an observation of seeing breaks maybe filling a little bit more slowly, on our app and at other places. Is it the market? Is it the tariffs? Is it the economy? One thing that I can say is we're still filling the same amount of breaks.
Yep.
So generally, if your observation is that breaks are filling a little bit more slowly, it's usually because we're trying to push more breaks than normal, right?
Yep.
We're kind of always trying to push the envelope of how many breaks we're going to fill because we're trying to grow, right? And sometimes you push a little bit too hard and that break takes a little bit longer to fill. We also are coming out of a month, March, that
we call it the vacuum.
yeah, I mean, almost every year is the same, but February and March are like a vacuum for new releases.
Yep.
And new releases really drive most of the hobby. In fact, we're one of the few breakers that consistently fills lots of products every day, even when there's not new releases.
Yep.
I mean, I would say a good 75% of the breaker market is just completely dependent on new releases.
Yeah, and when there's only one release in February, one or two releases in February, one in March, right? It's just it's a vacuum of a lack of releases.
Yeah, so you're going to see that in the market
Yep.
of breakers that are just kind of like twiddling their thumbs and not getting anything full, and it's because they don't have any new releases.
Yep.
That's changed already this month in April, and now we're running into a month where there's Tribute, then Heritage, then Topps Chrome Black, then Bowman. You've got all the football products. You got things are starting to loosen up from a release calendar perspective, and so that's going to change things quite a bit too. But as far as our numbers, we're really consistent in the number of breaks that we're filling. We tend to measure it a little bit more by number of breaks than by revenue, because if you're just measuring by revenue, then obviously your months where you have Flawless Football or Bowman or Diamond Icons, those kind of months are going to look like the best months. But we measure it by number of breaks because that's really activity level, and that's really what we're most interested in seeing is consistency and enough critical mass of collectors in our community to keep filling breaks.
Yep.
So that's kind of where we're at. I think you're going to see, you are going to see breakers struggle. As Fanatics is trying to get a bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger piece of the pie. The margins are getting thinner and thinner and thinner, and I'm not crying. We do fine, but there are breakers that are going to struggle, to make any kind of margins.
Yeah.
So,
which is exponentially tougher when there's a lack of releases.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of people they have to fill the next release to pay for the last one, right? So, when there's less releases, they kind of get exposed a little bit because there's nothing to rob Peter to pay Paul on your invoices over here. So
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I'll start doing every single break. I'll just say next one's still filling. Go, hurry up, fill it up. Let's go. Big hits.
Emil broke it.
I gotta stop hitting the table.
Don't hit the table.
I'm gonna start jumping in the garbage cans.
Come on, guys! I can't go any lower. This one's gonna hurt. What am I gonna do? Ryan's gonna be mad. Oh.
No, I think that won't work. That tactic won't work because they already know that Ryan's gonna be mad at me for something, regardless. Anyways,
and they don't feel bad.
No,
so.
they would.
They're like,
They would intentionally stop filling my breaks just to get me in trouble.
Yeah.
I haven't been fired yet in a while. No. never mind. Yesterday. 24 hours. That seems like a good buffer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. What else? Professor asks, any upcoming guests on your breaks? It's fun getting to know the players. It's tough right now, especially with a lot of our connections being in baseball specifically. I mean, obviously these guys are all in season. Yep. So, hopefully as some of these teams start coming into town, we get some, opposing teams players that are playing the Twins and come up to the shop. And, I know we were working with a couple when the Royals were last in town, but their game schedule just didn't match up. So we don't have anything planned right now, but I know as we get into Bowman, we're finishing up all of our Bowman write-ups on who to chase. I mean, we're 2 weeks away from Bowman now. So we're finishing up our write-ups on who you guys should be chasing. It's a really loaded class, just a little foreshadowing there. But we'll have that, and then I know Titus will be working on reaching out to these guys, starting to get some interviews. And I think we did that for draft where we had a couple guys actually come on to stream as well. So that's normally one of our big times to try to get guests. So hopefully we can pull something off for Bowman with that.
Yeah.
So scrolling through, I know we had a couple other questions here. Gibby on YouTube said, I saw you have the skunk protection giveaway last night posted, wondering how I'm able to use my alternative method of entry into the giveaways like that.
So skunk protection's not a giveaway.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Skunk protection is not a giveaway. Skunk protection is just one of our ways of getting product to people who didn't hit anything in the break.
Yep.
So that's it's not a giveaway. It's not something that's open to enter. You can't enter skunk protection. It's just a freebie for people who didn't get a particular kind of hit in a break.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And then Zachary had a question on organizing cards by team, edition, etc. New to this, friends with Tom. Well, I'm not sure if we can trust his judging people if he's friends with Tom. I'm kidding. Got me into this. Not sure if this is a question for Q&A. No, it's a great question. What? I'm trying to think of like what I usually go by like, if I get a bunch of cards, rip a bunch of boxes, get into a couple breaks or whatever. I'm usually taking out the stuff that is worthy to sell. Like I'm sorting it out by like, okay, I want to keep these or PC these. I want to sell these. So normally the hits, the autos, relics, stuff like that. And then the base sort of stuff. If I'm not putting together set, like there's certain products where you can put sets together and actually sell those in terms of base sets. So if I'm not doing that, then I'll usually just put those in boxes by product.
Yeah, I'm a product sorter too.
Yeah.
When you move from product to product to product to product, you end up with all kinds of things. I don't like to mix products.
Yeah.
So I don't like to sort by player or sort by team and then mix products because, if I'm looking for certain things, like usually I'm looking at the product level.
Yeah.
But like I'll sort it out so that all the base cards are together, all the insert types are sorted, all the numbered stuff is sorted, stuff like that is usually what I'm hunting for.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Gibby says it says giveaway. I'm curious on that. Actually, I want to look at that. I'm not sure which exact one you're talking about, Gibby, because this Easter weekend mystery egg is mystery egg skunk protection. So if there's something else that you're referencing, then let me know. But yeah, not sure on that. So cool. All right, Jake wanted to talk about the Twins.
I mean, Jake thinks the Twins are going to win the division.
It's time for our weekly AL Central update with the Twins, and not in last place,
but well on our way to losing 100 games.
7-12 with 368 on the win percentage. Not ideal. There's not much that we need to talk about with the Twins. I'd say there's
nothing to talk about with the Twins.
There's a lot more exciting stuff going on in baseball.
Expectation.
Yeah.
Meets expectations, right? I mean, there are so many better things to talk about. Tigers is a good one for the professor mentioned Tigers. You got Torkelson, finally doing something.
Finally, man.
I mean, how long have the Tigers been
5 years
waiting for Torkelson
I'd say 4
to materialize into anything?
Rookie
right?
in 2022, right? So probably got called out late 2021. So three and a half years now. This this third full season, I'd say.
Right.
Which is the problem is he was developed back coming out of college. That was like a can't miss hitter. Like
Right.
he hit
Like ready for the majors when he was drafted, can't miss.
like a guy like Langford was specifically, or some of these
Right.
guys, right? And he got called up and just did not do anything.
Right.
And just struggled. But yeah, now he's batting 286 with 6 bombs.
Yeah.
Like that's a lightning start to the season.
Yeah, it's a great start. I mean, I like seeing some of these guys, like these 2019, 2020 kind of guys start to pop off again.
Yep.
Tatis is one of those guys who's really popping off right now.
Yep.
Pete Alonso's popping off. I like seeing those kind of guys really step up the game. And then young guys, right? I mean, Corbin Carroll had a really, really difficult sophomore season.
Correct.
Seems like he's found it a little bit. So it's fun to see that kind of stuff also.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, and then guys like James Wood, for instance, who's going to be a rookie all through this year, like he's lighting it up.
I mean, I think everybody thought Dylan Cruz was the top
rookie.
Washington Nationals rookie.
Yep.
And Wood looks like he's kind of risen to the top of that. You see guys like Matt Mervis who, is having a decent start to the season, but, he's been kind of up and down a little bit as a rookie after being pretty hot in Bowman when he was a prospect.
Well, he actually got called up with the Cubs and was lighting it up in the minors and then just came up and just struggled.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, and then Tyler Soderstrom Chronicles are wild.
I mean, he's playing in a minor league ballpark.
I don't know if that's...
I
wonder
mean,
what his home and away splits are.
I mean, should you probably be laying down some offensive statistic bets on like Soderstrom or Caminero, any of the Athletics or the Rays where they're playing in a minor league ballpark?
All right, so I'm challenging that. His home and away splits this year, he has 7 home runs away and 2 at home.
Okay.
And I don't know the split on. Well, actually, I do know it's 9 and 10. He's hitting
even games.
Pretty much even games.
All right. Well, that defies it. Wow, look how bad his average.
Yeah, he's hitting 156 at home.
Maybe he just needs to put the ball in play, and he would have 15 home runs.
Seriously, I mean, Tyler Soderstrom is an interesting one because he was actually a legit prospect in 2020 draft. Like he was one of the top, maybe not one of the top guys, one of the high.
Oh, he was. He was top 5.
10 at least, yeah, yep. And then just obviously being in the athletics organization didn't help him, but got called up and is a catcher that wasn't really producing, and now he's just going crazy, which is wild.
Yep.
So it'd be interesting. It's really, I mean, this is the fun part of the year. It's like, okay, is this just a 2-week hot stretch? Are pitchers gonna start figuring these guys out, and then are they gonna get back cold, or how's this gonna play out?
Yeah. No, it's been fun to watch. You got other guys. I mean, you also see these guys that are hitting home runs that have like pitiful batting averages right now.
Yeah.
Cal Raleigh's one of them. Pitiful batting average. Jazz Chisholm. Mike Trout. Mike Trout has a pitiful batting average, but he's still got like 5 or 6 bombs. Yeah. So when you're hitting under 200 with 6 bombs. I mean, something's clicking. Yeah. You gotta figure out how to make it work a little bit more often, though.
Javi loves the long ball.
Oof.
That's all you need.
I can't deal with this 179 batting average stuff. It's not good for me.
Yeah. Well, that's like the whole Twins roster, I think.
Whole Twins
minus the 6 home runs.
Seriously.
I understand. Is Tovar playing well? I have not heard much about him.
No idea.
He's still
young.
You got
a couple rookies that are doing well.
Yeah.
Ben Rice is looking really good.
Yeah, after everyone kind of wrote him off after his hot start last year.
He came up, got off to such a massive hot start, and then just kind of fizzled out.
Yeah.
So seeing him play well is kind of nice.
Yeah, it bodes well for the 2025 rookie class.
Yeah, I mean, that helps the rookie class, right? Dylan Cruz is not quite doing much. But you got Ben Rice, who might be the top-selling rookie right now.
Yeah, he's pretty high. He's pretty high up there.
So,
yep.
Kieran Paris, another young guy that's playing
had
really,
hype and then didn't, and then back to playing well.
Playing
It has
really
a bunch of
well.
hype.
Yeah,
We actually having people come up at the car show asking for Karen
We
Paris
did.
stuff, which is one that I never thought I'd hear that in my life.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, no, it's fun.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yep.
We'll take it.
Yeah, and we're going to start seeing some call-ups here soon. You
Sure.
know, guys that weren't and aren't in these first sets of
I mean,
products.
Roman Anthony is on fire. He's making minor league baseball look like little league baseball
Yeah,
right now.
Roman Anthony might actually be pretty legit.
So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how long they put off bringing some of these guys up. So,
I'm looking at minor league. Here we go. 2025 MILB. Roman Anthony, 283 with 4 home runs.
Yeah.
Judd Fabian's an interesting one. 233 with 5 home runs. Will Benson up there. Kobe Mayo up there, who I know he was bummed to not crack the roster with the Orioles. Yeah, this is... I don't know. There's going to be some big names that probably get popped here soon with call-ups
right.
and throughout the course of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, then we're going to be looking at, who's going to be in Series 2 and who's going to be in Update and who are they going to get through the rest of these products. And I got to think that Roman Anthony is going to headline a lot of that.
Right.
As his number 1 prospect in baseball, but...
Yeah.
Or he actually might be number 2 to Sasaki, but I'm not sure.
Here, Chip Case Restocker has a question. If you had $1 million, would you buy the Skeens debut patch or the Dominguez first Bowman Super Auto?
Would you rather have the first Bowman Super Auto or the debut patch?
Just in general?
Yeah, that's a general question.
In general, oof.
Because that's my first thought is,
They've
would I
really-
rather take the Dominguez or would I rather take the first Bowman Dominguez or would I rather take the debut patch?
They've done a much better job of making that debut patch card
I'd almost
super,
rather have
super
that.
hobby relevant.
Yeah.
So like if you were gonna go same player, first Bowman Super or debut patch rookie auto, man.
I think the debut patches have outsold the first Bowman Supers of all these guys.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're awesome.
Like I don't think the Skeens first Bowman Superfractor Auto is getting $1 million. I don't think it's getting close.
I'm not quite there yet on it personally. I feel like first Bowman.
You're
Super,
Bowman Homer.
I
You're an old school.
I feel like first Bowman Super is still like that. Their first 1-of-1 auto. It's going to end up being 2 or 3 years before. In 90% of the cases,
Yeah.
it's going to be 2 or 3 years before their rookie patch auto, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So to me, that's the card to have.
Yeah.
Now, in this scenario, Dominguez versus Skeens, I am for sure never, ever, 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 ever putting any kind of money into a pitcher. Not in a million years.
Okay. Why? Well, you just bought a pitcher not too long ago.
At the end of his career.
I'm just saying.
At the end of his career is completely different than at the beginning of his career.
Yeah, but there's no saying that Skeens can't have a Verlander Kershaw-esque career.
Yeah, I'm not betting on that.
Yeah,
There's
that's
no-
the
there's
problem.
no
It's
chance.
It's a risk thing,
There's
right?
no chance I am gambling on a pitcher at the early stages of his career pitching 19 years like Verlander, Kershaw, Scherzer, 19 years, 20 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, they have to pitch 20 years with 15 wins a season to get 300 wins. They got to pitch 20 years with 150 strikeouts a season to get 3,000 strikeouts.
yeah. Yeah, we talked about how that we might not ever see
We
that
might
again.
not ever see that again. These guys are throwing 5 innings. They're not throwing 9-inning complete games. No one's throwing complete games anymore.
Which is also interesting with the increase in just the development of modern medicine and how these guys can recover from stuff like Tommy John so much better. But like, does that still not prolong their careers enough to match some of these guys like Verlander and Kershaw?
No, because they're also proportionally throwing harder, and all of these other kinds of things, right? So, I just don't think with these guys, on pitch counts, 5 and 6 men rotations, they're literally throwing once a week,
Right.
and they're throwing 5 innings. I just don't see how any of these pitching records will ever be, like, not even the records, just the historical qualifications to enter the Hall. 300 wins, 3,000 strikeouts.
Yeah, but that's
like,
those
these
aren't
kinds of
qualifications to get in the Hall.
These were always the benchmarks. Like,
there's so many guys.
it's like 3,000 hits for a hitter. Like, no one's going to get 3,000 hits anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't call those qualifications.
They were, though. They always were. For decades and decades and decades,
Yeah.
those were the qualifications. Those were the benchmarks that you had to reach.
How many hits did Chase Utley have? I'm trying to think of, like, guys that were, like, fringe Hall players. Or, fringe, like, getting the Hall of Fame or not. Chase Utley had...
1,800 hits.
Yes, it's not even close.
It's not even close. But he's also not a Hall of Famer. And he's not going to be.
I thought he was.
No.
Who was the last dude that just got in? Here, worst Hall of Famers MLB.
Harold Baines.
Is that who it was?
Harold Baines probably the worst Hall of Famer in the Hall of Fame.
Let's see. Yep, Hall of Fame.
Look at that.
Almost 2,900 hits.
2,866 hits. See, and
Yep.
over almost 400 home runs.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's not bad.
But he's like the worst. He's the worst Hall of Famer.
There was someone else recently, like some Phillies dude or something.
Jimmy
like
Rollins.
That. Was it Rollins?
I don't think Rollins is in, is he?
Let's see. Harold Baines, Jesse. This is like 2 years ago. There's someone that was more recent. Let's scroll down to number 1. Joe Mauer. Is Joe Mauer fringe Hall of Famer?
Ichiro's a goat. Ichiro's a goat. Mauer's just boring. Let me say that as I'm going to make all the Twins people mad again.
Hall of Fame and double plays grounded into Joe Mauer. Oh, this is kind of cool. They did a ranking of every baseball Hall of Fame class by wins above by WAR. That's really interesting. Yeah, it's not about anything besides WAR right now.
Yeah. What can you do?
It's all about WAR.
All right, what else do you guys? We got 10 minutes. What else do you have for questions? See, Chip Case Restocker is going to go break on Whatnot now because I say too many mean things.
You were being very, not nice to pitchers.
I was a pitcher too. That's what can you do?
Whatever. All right, what else do we have? I'm trying to think of what else is going on next week. We've got Heritage. We've obviously got, these guys were talking about, Liberty was, I was going to say, Liberty, we got it right here. I was going to mess you on this.
When are we eating this thing?
So here's my question. How, do these things just last forever? Is this I guess this is somewhat airtight. Is it preserved? So for those of you guys that don't know the story on this, if you missed the Cheeto break, which did not end up being good, we did pull some cool stuff, and we listed, this is the one thing that we listed on eBay.
We did. We listed a Cheeto on eBay.
And
Liberty won it. Liberty won the Cheeto.
The Han Solo blaster. It's actually kind of legit.
It's totally legit.
That's a legit Han Solo blaster right there. Do I need to eat this thing right now, Liberty? Is that what we're doing with this? I'm actually only slightly worried.
He said he wants to eat it. He said,
"Oh, perfect."
He said, "I want to eat." Oh, I want Emil to eat Han Solo blaster. Oh no.
This still smells like a Cheeto.
There's a good chance Emil vomits from one Cheeto after eating all of those Cheetos 2 weeks ago.
No, I think I'm good. I honestly don't think these things go bad.
If you eat that, if you eat that, we're gonna get a chargeback on eBay. Item not
item not received.
Item not received. We're gonna get an item not received on eBay chargeback from Liberty, and he's gonna get us $4 back.
Yeah,
and leave us a negative
negative
eBay feedback.
Filmed himself eating the order I purchased.
What a jerk! What a jerk! He consumed my order in front of me.
I know. What's a good Han Solo joke to reference this? I'm not the guy to bring up Star Wars jokes.
I don't know any Star. I only know one outer space joke, but it's a Star Trek joke.
That's old school.
Yeah, Star Trek joke. I only got one.
What's that?
It is what does a Starship Enterprise and toilet paper have in common?
I have no idea.
They both keep Klingons off Uranus.
I'm not gonna laugh at that one. I'm not. It's dumb.
That's my space joke.
The planet, right? That's what you're talking about. The planet.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna eat this thing. No more jokes. Cheers, Liberty. This thing's going down the hatch.
$4. It's the most expensive Cheeto.
That's probably the most expensive Cheeto I've ever
It's
ate.
the most expensive Cheeto you've ever eaten. A $4 Cheeto.
It's a little bit stale after sitting for 18 days.
How epic would it be to buy the Charizard and then just
eat it?
Just buy the Charizard for $70,000 and just take receipt of it and eat it.
I think it was actually pretty good. That Charizard's got to be a little bit more stale. That thing's probably been sitting there for a couple of years now.
All right.
Well, thanks for the morning snack, Liberty.
It has been done.
That's good.
That's brutal.
Reed asked a good question. What's a cheaper box to pick up today to rip with my 6-year-old? Good Friday is a holiday, doesn't have school. Thinking NBA hoops or Don or us. Yeah, I think we've got a few great options in that price range. If you're looking basketball, yeah, hoops has been great for that price point at like $139-ish. Donruss is always a fun rip just because you get more stuff than hoops. You get all the inserts, all the press-proof parallels, a bunch of numbered stuff, and a guaranteed auto. So Donruss is good if you're thinking basketball. Baseball, we've still got Series 1 Hobby. We've got the Celebrations Megas back in stock now. I think like 79-ish, which is a great rip with short print chases and stuff like that. Yeah, I'd say.
And there's always retail too, right? So if you don't want to do hobby, you can do variety.
Yep.
So retail's always an option. We stock more retail than we ever used to.
Mm-hmm.
Just because Panini and Topps both started selling us retail direct. So we're getting those products in.
Yep.
Sometimes they sell out. We got to go find more. That just is what it is, but that's how the whole market is on everything. So.
Yep. Yeah, Series 2 hockey has been great, actually. So if you're looking hockey at all, I don't think you're a hockey guy mainly, Reed, but yeah, Series 2 hockey has been great. SPX has been a cool one, and those are all in the, just over $100 price point. So there is a lot of great value stuff out right now.
Right.
So, yeah. Or you can get an Easter egg. Those we loaded up with some stuff to rip and a sweet single or some memorabilia or Easter eggs are gonna be good. So yeah, a lot of different options. Cool. Did I miss any other questions? We kind of blew over the. They were talking about some of the guys were talking about WrestleMania and the patches. The patches are going to be cool. I'm way more excited for something else regarding WrestleMania, and I have no idea how I'm going to get my hands on boxes.
Yeah, I know.
Because they're going to be crazy high.
Emil's excited about Cactus Jack.
Yes. Cactus Jack Baseball was one of the sickest products last year that debuted at Fanatics Fest last June, and now they're doing a second Cactus Jack set with WWE specifically for WrestleMania. And it's also cool because Travis has been on, he was on WWE a month ago or whatever, doing some promo stuff. He's going to be at WrestleMania.
Right.
So there's so many different, parallels there. As a Travis Scott fan, I'm super pumped for that. But the patches are going to be awesome.
Right.
That they're doing for WrestleMania. It's cool. It's cool to see all this different stuff.
They proved this to work for baseball. Now they've got they've got NBA, NFL, and WWE on board with these debut patch things. Or event-specific patches. That's going to be awesome.
Yep.
They got the guys wearing the MVP patches.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the golden logo men.
Yep.
I mean,
All that stuff.
they got some really cool stuff, and we're seeing Fanatics do more game worn.
Right.
Right? I mean, the industry kind of shifted over the past decade from game worn to player worn.
Yep.
And we're starting to see a lot more game used stuff on Fanatics, on Topps cards.
Yep.
So hopefully they keep that up.
100%.
But they should. I mean, with the relationships they have with the leagues, they should get more game worn stuff. That
Yep.
would be great to restore to the hobby.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I keep thinking back to the collection that we saw a few months ago of all the old Flawless and NT football specifically, just, and they did it in basketball too, just nasty game use patches with dirt and blood all over them. Like, that stuff is, like, it's so cool to see that because we just haven't seen that much lately.
Right.
So, yeah, Reed, we also have some 2020 stuff in for, Ant Edwards rookie chases. Like, one of the best ones,
Right.
I think, is 2020 Prism Retail.
Yeah.
We just got back in, I think, at like 169 or something a box. So that's in that range too, to chase some and stuff coming into playoffs.
Yep.
And we got playoffs starting up for NHL and NBA here this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't super stoked that the T-Wolves drew the Lakers in the first round.
Yeah, not the best.
I was wanting to see someone more like Denver or somebody like that. I don't love the Lake. I don't
be a
think,
tough draw.
I don't think the Lakers are awesome, but I don't like playing teams where they've got multiple players who can rise up and beat you almost by themselves.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's just what who the Lakers are. You know, Luka can rise up and score 40. LeBron can rise up and score 40. Like, those teams are dangerous to me.
100%. Yep.
So.
Yep. Yeah, I don't see. It's probably gonna be a little bit of a bummer for the Minnesota sports side of things because I don't necessarily know if I have either the Wild or the Wolves getting out of the first round. The Wild drew the Knights, which I don't think they've matched up well against, and the Knights just have the experience to go deep. And you've got Jack Eichel, who's playing amazingly this year. So I don't know. We'll see. The Cavs, though, number one in the East, baby. Number one in the East.
I'm not going to let you close out this segment with Cleveland.
We're talking about playoffs, and we're talking about the top teams. I can't help it that the Cleveland Cavaliers are the number one team in the Eastern Conference of the NBA. Just wait until MLB playoffs start and the Guardians are top of the division. We're gonna have a 2-hour special all card ship segment where it's just me talking about how pumped I am for the Guardians again.
Trifecta with the Browns. This is what he's going to say next. He'll be like, trifecta, the Browns are going to win the Super Bowl this year.
We're coming up quick. The draft is on Thursday.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm not talking about the Browns in general, just in, like, football in general with the draft coming up.
Here comes the hope. The hope. He's already feeling the hope for the Browns.
I don't feel the hope for the Browns because I have no idea what they're going to do. Whatever they do, I'm going to think in the back of my head is probably the wrong decision. Like, who knows?
Miller is in the house. What's up, Miller?
What up, Miller?
Aaron Judge having a good start to the season for Miller.
Yeah, those
awesome.
Yankees, Judge is looking good. Miller's also got to deal with Bryce Underwood. Looking not the best in spring camps.
Yeah.
He came in a little Zion-ish, I'm just saying. A little bigger. He got paid. I don't know if he's...
I mean, Zion's a specimen now.
He is a stud. Yeah, it's cool. Have you followed the stuff that's happening with Nico, the Tennessee quarterback?
Yeah.
Like, they were saying he's not... who knows where he's going to go now because he's trying to hold out for so much money and had an offer from Tennessee, didn't say it was enough, and can't get anyone else to match that.
Right.
Like, the NIL stuff that's playing out right now. There's another team in basketball, I think it was like Baylor, who either graduations draft and NIL.
No, it was Indiana.
No, Baylor had another team.
Another one?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it was Baylor that they don't have a single player on their roster right now.
The Hoosiers have not a single player returning. They either graduated or portaled.
It's wild to see.
Crazy it's like a program, and granted they're in a coaching change.
Yeah.
But a program like the Indiana Hoosiers, which is like a storied, they haven't been as good lately, but this is a storied program, basketball program, right? I mean, you're talking about the Hoosiers being in the conversation with the Tar Heels and Kentucky basketball, and they're in that same conversation, right? School. I mean, They were though for the longest time.
We need to preface this, but I don't know if a lot of people know that you are an Indiana. You're born and raised in Hoosier.
I mean, I'm homering out here a little bit, but it is true.
Do you think they're going to have to start putting limits on NIL? Like I know people were talking about like this with the Nico thing, like it shouldn't be a pay to play type of thing, but it is definitely turning into that.
They just made it unlimited. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, the fact that Nico can say I'm holding out for more money just like he would in the pros is wild.
They're just making it unlimited. Like you can enter the portal every year.
Yeah. Like Liberty said, zero structure set in place.
Yes,
that's the issue.
Right.
Like
they're gonna have to put some constraints on this.
Yep.
I don't know if it's dollar constraints or if it's portal constraints. Maybe you can only portal one time.
Right.
In your collegiate career. I don't know.
It's gonna be tough to go back on like the just free market though, because you're gonna have pushback. Like you're gonna have all these different groups of people saying, well, oh, you can't do this because then you're limiting the student athletes' rights, and oh, well, the guy can change college if he wants to. Like, is it and yeah, and when you have such massive money thrown around for these massive prospects, like Bryce Underwood, who got how many millions to go to Michigan, and like the Ohio State's doing with Jeremiah Smith and keeping him there. Like, it is ridiculous the amount of money that's being put in.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, like, I get it was at a much smaller level and probably much smaller dollar values, but a lot of this was happening with allegedly Alabama and some of these big SEC schools that were like.
I mean, people have been getting paid.
Right.
College athletes have been getting paid covertly since the beginning of time, right? I mean, what was it? Eddie George, didn't he lose his Heisman?
No, Reggie Bush.
Or it was Reggie Bush, yeah. Reggie Bush lost his Heisman. They actually gave it back to him.
Right. They're like,
we let everybody do it. Now you can have your Heisman back.
Right.
Right? Like, it's wild. And that was for like a car.
Yeah.
I feel like that was for like a car for his mom or something.
Something like that.
Like that's what he got. And
yeah.
Gets stripped of the Heisman.
Yeah, I mean,
it's wild.
Yeah, well, it's even ruined like Urban Meyer with. Obviously, I'm making Ohio State references because that's what I know the best. But like Urban Meyer was fired because he wasn't saying anything about guys, signing autographs for tattoos and stuff like that.
Right.
Like,
how much money could Johnny Manziel have made?
So Johnny Manziel has a podcast that is actually a really interesting listen where he has guys come onto the podcast that were like, kind of the burnout type of guys that were like him, like was supposed to be great, didn't happen, whatever. And he has talked about that where it's like, man, if I was in college during NIL, like he would have been the highest paid athlete. He would have been outpacing a lot of NFL players.
Or Tim Tebow.
All these guys.
You think about some of these guys that were like collegiate legends.
Yeah.
Tim Tebow was one of those. Manziel was one of those.
Yep.
Like, they pop every once in a while. You're just like, all right, this guy rises above, not just as a player, but also as a personality,
right,
and as a character, right?
Yeah, Tebow would have been getting money from the super churches down in Texas. What's that one dude? Joel Osteen would have been paying Tebow like crazy.
Brutal.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, boys and girls. That brings us. We are 5 minutes over our time for this session of All Cards Ship. I don't think we have anything next Friday. We'd probably be back next Friday, right? When's the Tops Conference? Are we?
I think
2
that's
weeks?
2 weeks away. Yeah.
2 weeks from the Tops Conference, but that's a Sunday.
No, we actually
anyways.
we leave next Sunday. Yeah, so that we're gone like Sunday to Wednesday or something. So we got next Friday, and then then the Friday after that. So March 2nd or May 2nd, we'll be able to recap kind of what we're hearing about. So make sure you don't miss that one.
Yeah, don't miss the May 2nd.
We'll hear about probably some new products, some new plans, some new everything, and just general, what's going on in the industry and what's going on with Fanatics specifically. So I'm pretty excited for that.
Yep.
So we didn't touch it. We need to touch on real quick. We had a really big feature. I know we're over time. We had a big feature but finally get pushed out to the main Real Sports Cards app this week that we need you guys to make sure you know about.
And we need your help with it, to be honest. Like, you guys are here hanging out because you're friends, because you are active and participate in this community. And when we moved over to this app from Facebook, we knew that it made the breaks experience better, but we do feel like we missed out and lost some of the community stuff and the fun banter and the chatter and everything that Facebook was really good at fostering. And so we rolled out just this last week. If you have not seen it yet, there is a new community tab at the bottom of your app.
Right in the middle. You can't miss it.
In the middle. You can't miss it. Check out that community tab. This community tab is only going to be successful if people engage with it and participate. So we're going to be in there participating. We need you guys to be in there participating. We need our closest friends to be in there kind of driving the conversation in there so that people who maybe aren't as close or maybe are new or anything like that see some engagement and see activity and feel like there's a friend group that they could plug into, right? Because collecting is more fun when it's done with friends. And so that's what we wanted to enable. There's sports talk in there. So all the sports talk that we banter about in this podcast, that conversation can live on in the sports talk room. All the hobby talk stuff about releases and things like that, that can live on in the hobby talk room. We put in a hold, sell, burn room, which we're going to have a little bit of fun with that. I put the first card in there.
We've already seen some more action going in there. People asking, like, should I hold this or should I, which one of these should I keep or not?
Right. Like, hold, sell, burn is a perfect example. Put a card in there, get people's feedback. Should I hold this card? Should I sell this card? Or should I burn this card? You have the freedom to show your disdain towards certain players or certain types of things there in a friendly way. And then we might have teased our summer promo with a fourth room. There's not going to be a ton of activity in that room quite yet, but we wanted to throw it out there so that you know that the 2025 Real Sports Cards Summer Road Trip is coming soon. Additionally, you can now private message anyone on the platform, okay? Kind of like Facebook Messenger. You can search a username and have direct DMs with those people. In addition to that, all customer service inquiries for breaks now go through our two support channels, Minnesota support channel and Wisconsin support channel. They are pinned to the top of your messages. So you can reach us, our break team, our customer service team, our sorting and shipping team. You can reach us with any break-related questions directly in our support channel. So this should replace, Facebook messages. I know people often will Facebook message the breakers directly or send Real Breaks page or Real Sports Cards page a message or send Instagram a message or send
various
X
emails,
a message or various emails a message.
Instagram, everything.
Yeah, this is the place where you can reach out to our customer service team directly and get answers for break related things. So make sure we're using that for those questions.
Yeah, and Reed said the private messaging is huge for random teams. Like 100%, we see that as that portal for you guys to. Oh, someone has the Twins and I have someone else. Shoot them a message. Hey, would you be willing to trade? We can make that happen. Someone hits a sick card in a break that you have to have. That happens every single day. You know who hit it because you see their name in the team's list. Search them in that. Send them a message. Hey, would you sell this? I expect to see a lot of that going on. So, it's a really huge feature that has been in the works for a long time with us. That is finally out that we're super, super pumped about. Yeah,
and we're going to continue to evolve that feature. So keep an eye on it. There are a lot of things that we want to be able to do to enable you guys to connect with each other and to connect with us better. If you have ideas there, feel free to hit us up and let us know. But please go there, be active, and let's start building this community and tying people in. It's really important that, it's a community of collectors, not customers. We don't just want the app to be transactional. So hang out with us and get to know each other a little bit more. So,
Cool. That was
Awesome.
the last big update that I have. I want to make sure we didn't miss that.
sweet.
So, cool.
That'll wrap us up.
Awesome.
Appreciate you guys for hanging out. We got breaks already dropping. So go grab a spot, and we will see you in a future video.
Thanks, guys.